Hello, my friends. This is Lynda Lippin, and welcome to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Hello, my friends. It's Lynda Lippin, and welcome back once again to the Pilates Goddess podcast. I am super excited about today's guest. I have to tell you, I was introduced to Liz Wilcox by a friend and colleague of mine, Monica Monfries-Scantlebury. And Monica suddenly started sending out all of these really awesome emails with great subject lines and great tags and emails that really made me want to email her back. And at least made me want to click on her links and look at all of her stuff, even though I know her and I know her links and I know her stuff. And when I started seeing that from her, heard who she was working with, and then saw the incredibly low price point, Liz, for your membership and for what you do for the service business community, I was thrilled and immediately joined. So, listeners, if you are running any kind of business, seriously, any kind of business, I don't care if it's a service business, a Pilates business, yoga, fitness, whatever, you need to be in email contact with your clients, okay? This allows you to be right in their inboxes. They have given you permission for it. It's not spammy. It's not weird. And it's the best way to communicate with your people. And what you may be sitting there doing is what I did, was just not sending out the emails because you don't feel like writing them or you're getting stuck. So Liz Wilcox is the fresh princess of email marketing, and she is a huge 90s Will Smith and Fresh Prince fan. She is an email strategist and keynote speaker who shows small businesses how to build online relationships, package up their magic, and turn it into emails that people want to read, and most importantly, purchase from. Because we're not running these businesses for no apparent reason. We are running these businesses for profit, and therefore we need to be making some money from our businesses. So welcome, Liz.
Oh my gosh. Hello. I am so excited. And just so you know, no, I'm not a Pilates goddess, but yes, I am the Fresh Princess. And I am so thrilled to be here to help people punch up their emails and also just even get motivated to write them in the first place. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks so much for being here. Now, we keep hearing online, right, that things go through cycles. And for a while, everyone was like, oh, email marketing is dead. And now it's all social media. And now it's all live video. And now it's all this or all that. But at the end of the day, email marketing still seems to be here.
Yeah.
And still seems to be working.
Yeah. And it's still, at the time of this recording, late 2022, the number one marketing channel as far as ROI, your return on investment. They say for every dollar you spend with email. So yeah, it does cost money to have an email service provider usually, or you can get something for free. Like I think MailChimp has that option. For every dollar that you spend, when you do it correctly, you can get up to, $40 in return. And this is especially true for Pilates instructors and service providers, that charge hourly rates, where it's not like you're selling $1 printables on Etsy or something. You've got an actual cost behind there. You can definitely see, that return as you do your emails right, and you get bookings, you get people into your studio, you get memberships, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, there's a difference between welcome emails, or the emails that we use to sort of welcome people into our world, and kind of more nurture emails or sales emails. And a big thing that I see amongst other Pilates providers, because we all are on each other's lists, is email solely for selling or solely for scheduling, but then not a whole lot of other email, so from the emails themselves, I don't get a sense of like who the person is or what their story is or who they serve or what they do. I get a lot of blanket, like, I'm teaching this workshop, or come take class with me, or any of these things. And I'm always like, and who are you again?
Yeah. So to answer that, who are you again, to make sure Lynda knows who you are every single time, you've got to have that proper welcome sequence and a consistent newsletter. Or nurture, type of emails. So the welcome sequence itself can be automated inside whatever kind of email service provider, wherever your email list is hosted, wherever you send emails. That's called an email service provider. And so having a proper welcome sequence that shows off a little bit of personality, your vision for your clients or potential students, sharing what it is you wish for them instead of like, I wish they would come to my studio every week, right? But what you actually wish for them, right? If you're a Pilates instructor, every student that you have, what is that vision you have? After a year, they will be able to do X, Y, Z. I know for me, I love hot yoga, and the best instructors, I can tell they really care about me being able to do certain poses. They ask me, when I come into the studio, they ask, what is your goal? What do you want out of this? Where's your flexibility at right now? What do you hope it can be? Have you ever been in a hot yoga studio? Can you make it to the end of the 90-minute sessions? Maybe that's the vision at first, right? So putting that in the email, this is what I want for my clients. This is what I want for every student that comes in, whatever. And then a little bit of values at first. Share what it is that you value. This is not to say, spew your politics everywhere, right? No. But of course, we've all been to different studios, and we've all had different instructors that we, aligned with or vibed with. So sharing some of that with your potential client or somebody who just came into your studio is going to help them align themselves with you. Oh yeah, I love that. She even saying something like, I offer classes, at this time and that time because, I want to be available to you whenever you need it. That's showcasing a value, right? For me, a lot of my things, like Lynda said, my main offer is $9. One of my values is affordability, right? One of your values might be inclusivity. It doesn't matter your limitations. I want you to come in and try a class. We offer modifications, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, 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 but you get it. That's showing a little bit of values. So sharing that right at the beginning in that automated welcome sequence is really, really important.
This, when I'm hearing you talk and I'm thinking to myself, there is some business basics that has to even come before this. Basically, sure. Pilates teacher training programs teach nothing about business, and they teach nothing about client acquisition or any of that. We are really, and we're always taught that like Pilates is for everybody. Which it is, because everybody can do it in some version.
Right.
But as I always tell my clients, in my Pilates teacher clients, in my Pilates teacher mastermind, if you market to everybody, you're marketing to nobody. Because who are you then talking to? Who's then going to grab onto that? So like for me, it's women over 50 with osteoporosis, right? And I have clients who have increased their bone density after a year of doing online classes, right? So I've got kind of which I'm so happy for, not just for me, but for them. So, I've got verifiable success. I've got client stories. We've got testimonials, and I've already done that work of figuring out the core values of my business and really what I want for my clients. I think that for a lot of business owners, and you, I'm sure, have encountered this as well. Whenever they look at the word value, they think sale or they think low price instead of this is actually what you're getting and what I'm giving you in this container.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can have value in something, this conversation is valuable and it didn't cost anybody anything. Or, I could come into your studio or be one of your clients and yeah, my bone density increases. Like that is an extreme value. I don't know how much your services cost, but if you gave me that promise, I don't know how much that would be worth. I would pay just about anything if I was in that case. I know for me, I have a lot, like my nutrition is always out of whack because I'm allergic to, 50 to 100 foods. So I'm constantly in this battle of, eating enough. And I pay hundreds of dollars a month to get vitamin C and zinc and all this other stuff injected straight into my bloodstream. And that is not cheap, but it is highly valuable, right? I told the woman, because she said, oh, if you join the membership or if you join as a member, you get 20% discounts if you need this more than once a month or whatever. I said, honey, I would pay anything to feel better. It doesn't matter. And that's, of course, feels like a privilege to be able to say that at this stage in my life. But it's true, what you offer as an instructor of wellness and health and fitness is so freaking valuable to the right person. Once you figure out who your ideal person is, like Lynda was saying, it's worth any sort of price. And the value is so high.
Now, how did you start your membership?
Yeah, great question. So, like Lynda said, I have a $9 a month membership, and honestly, it was one of those moments, if you're listening right now and you're thinking, yeah, okay, I do have some people on an email list that I could email, but I have no idea what to say. It was that same problem. I was sitting at my desk thinking, I've got to email these people. What do I say? And it was going back to what Lynda and I were just talking about. How can I provide value to these people? What do they really need? Thinking about, so I've niched down, like Lynda was saying, talk to everybody, you talk to nobody type of thing, where I only talk about email. I'm not trying to talk about all facets of business. I just love email. I could talk about all day, every day. I think I've written 2,000 words today about email. I don't talk about anything else. But anyway, what the heck was the point of that? Oh, writing the newsletter. I sat down and I said, what value can I really truly bring? And I realized from, niching down, getting to know my people, that newsletters were a problem. That whole sitting down and thinking about what to say was the biggest problem. But I also knew that a lot of people didn't believe that they could do it. Right. They believed me when I said, oh yeah, email for every $1, you can get $40 in return. They believed that. But a lot of selling really isn't, getting someone to believe what you're saying is true. It's getting them to believe what you say is true for them. Right. It's, battling that inner demon of, oh, I could never try Pilates. It's not for me. I'm not flexible enough. I'm not strong. I'll just stick to my, nightly walks or whatever. I don't believe it for me. Like, yeah, I saw that worked for Lynda, but it doesn't work for me. And so I realized that, a lot of that was just convincing them that they too could write newsletters. And if I was the one to have to come 90% of the way, then that's what I was willing to do. And so I priced it at, a no-brainer offer because I knew that reservation of this will never work for me was very, very, very high. So I priced it lower so that the maximum amount of people could get in and try it. And the templates, so the membership is just a template where I actually write the newsletter for you, and you just quite literally fill in the blanks for your personality and your business. And so I said, okay, this is basically me coming 90% of the way. Can I have $9? You try it out. This is going to be highly valuable to you. And that's how I started the membership. That's how I came up with the idea. And now we're a little over a year and a half in, and we've got about 2,100 members, and it's so freaking fun. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah. Well, because it's a very specific and very intentional membership.
Yes, it's very narrowed down, to Lynda's point about, not speaking to everyone.
And I love that, actually. I know that when I open up the portal and look at what's there, that it is all related to my email newsletters, period, end of discussion. I also love the fact that I can kind of bounce around. I don't always, depending on where I am in talking to my people, I don't always use that exact week's template. I might kind of use a different one, but at the end of the day, everybody's getting an email at least once a week. And that is very exciting and is something that didn't used to happen for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Because I would just sit there and get stuck on what to say.
That's so awesome. I was going to say, you can't see me, but I'm smiling so big because that was my main intention, was just freaking try this. I know it works. What do I have to do to convince you? It's like, I guess if you opened up a studio and you were like, just come in for one class, like, I know you're going to love it, type of thing. And yeah, I love having the membership where you have access to everything I've written. So like I said, the membership is like a year and a half old or so. And so you have a year and a half worth of templates. It's not just, you have to write this email this week, right? You can skip around. You can do what feels good for you. Like right now, we're recording this around the time of Black Friday. Some people aren't doing Black Friday emails. So within the template, I've said, this is where you could or would put Black Friday. This is where you can omit it, or you can simply, hit that refresh button and try a different email, one that suits you right this second.
Is it now going back to kind of welcome sequences and bringing people into your email world? It is important to have a lead magnet for that. Yeah,
I think to start your email list, you can simply just get early adopters by either the people that are coming into a studio you're at right now, or, even posting on Facebook and saying, hey, I'm going to start this newsletter around XYZ. If you have any interest in that, join me. And, that's not going to be a million people, right? It might just be a few, but a few is going to give you enough motivation to say, oh, okay, this is valuable, right? To keep going. The same way as when you get your first client, it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. Maybe I'll try it again. And so doing that on social media, if you are building up a social media presence is the word I'm looking for. You can even say on Instagram stories or your feed or wherever, right? Hey, I have an email list where I share tips on XYZ or videos on this and that, whatever you want to offer your students. I'd love for you to join me over here. I do this on Instagram about once a month where I say, oh, by the way, don't forget, I do have an email list where I share tips. I'd love for you to join. Click over here. Nowadays, Instagram stories, you can link. You don't need 10,000 followers to be able to link out. They have that sticker available to you right now. And that's a great way to just simply get those people off of social media and onto the email list. Of course, if you wanted some sort of freebie, I think for studio owners and instructors, even just having maybe a video series of a few special poses, and teaching them, hey, I know this one feels tricky. Here's a video breakdown, or here's a series of videos for the most common poses, or even just a guide with pictures. Something like that would work really well, as well, or offering, a free class if you join the email list, something like that.
Hey, my friends, I know that recovery from any injury or surgical procedure can be a very long process, having been through many myself, but it's really crucial to come through it as fast and strong as possible. And of course, it's vital during this time to maintain muscle mass and strength, even during times when you have to rest in order to recover, because, proper nutrition accelerates the body's ability to repair itself. The good news is that there is a patented formula of essential amino acids clinically proven to accelerate muscle repair and growth faster than any protein source. I am so glad that I discovered Heal by the Amino Co. Heal is clinically proven to improve recovery from injuries or surgery. And it was originally formulated for astronauts to maintain muscle mass in space. I tried Heal and I love it. I have a meniscus injury in my left knee, and Heal is helping me feel better. I'll admit that I'm thoroughly impressed. It is a game changer. And if you are dealing with injuries, you're dealing with surgeries, you're just dealing with a lot of soreness and inflammation, I would highly recommend you try it. I like the taste so much, I'm keeping it for day-to-day use. I use the natural sour apple flavor, but they also have regular flavors like grape, chocolate, and vanilla. Lots of science behind this. This Heal formula was created by former Harvard professor and world-renowned clinical researcher, Dr. Robert Wolfe. Their science is unmatched. They've got 30 years of experience in this. You can check out the science and the products by visiting aminoco.com/goddess. That's aminoco.com/goddess. I have been on the lookout for something that could help me perform at my best and heal from within, with something that tastes good and is easy to make, and Heal is it. If you're looking for a nutritional advantage for optimal muscle recovery and maintaining muscle mass during periods of inactivity, I recommend you give Heal a try. And right now, if you go to aminoco.com/goddess and use code goddess, you will get 30% off and a free gift with every new purchase. That's right. Just go to aminoco.com/goddess and you will get 30% off and a free gift with new purchase. The link, as always, is in the show notes.
Do you have any ideas, Lynda? I would love to hear how you build your list. Let's promo it now.
Let's promo that now. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, I offer access to free pre-recorded classes so that, a lot of folks don't realize actually how easy it is to modify for osteoporosis, and the fact that the exercises are still as hard and as effective as they are unmodified. So I found that it's much more useful to kind of bring people in and give them that experience right away. Here you go, take a look at this, and then see that this is not only doable, doesn't require equipment, blah, blah, blah. And then the nurture series then becomes about, have you done this? Are you finding these difficult? Here are ways that you can, do it differently and make it work for you. And then it's then bringing people into, if, they're women over 50 with chronic pain or osteoporosis, into my Strong Bones Pilates programs. Doing a slightly different thing for Pilates instructors, because that's more continuing education and coaching, but, similar, where I'm offering, access to free education, short free videos. I've got the free Facebook group. And
that's
then
super smart.
I bring them into the paid world. So a lot of it for me is bringing them into the free Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that. Yeah,
working
I was
from there.
Back to what Lynda said about, niching down and really knowing the type of person you want to support and creating any of those list ideas I gave you, like, beginning poses for, men who have never tried Pilates, or women over 50, or, ladies in their 20s who are finally ready to commit to Pilates, or, whatever the person is, right? It might even just be someone who's never taken a Pilates class, the A to Z guide, right? A dictionary of these Pilates terms or whatever, for XYZ type of person, would be a great way to build your list. For me, because I'm so niched in email, I do actually support a lot of different types of business owners, not just Pilates instructors, right? But when I do certain interviews, I might create a separate landing page where it says, hey, Pilates instructor, get XYZ, or, and then I can copy and paste that and say, hey, content creator, hey, YouTuber, hey, educator. I also work with a lot of people that do online tutoring, stuff like that. So just really niching down and knowing those, that select person or those select few that you want to work with, is super helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, and I've always felt this way, that, first appointments, whether it's new doctors, new trainers, new nutritionists, whatever we're looking at, they're very much like scary blind dates. And they're scary blind dates that you're paying for. Right? So
hilarious.
So like your people kind of want to know a tiny bit of what they might be, jumping into when they're going into these blind dates. And I feel like that's where the kind of email sequencing can come from. Because, let's face it, people might see one out of every, 10 of our posts on social media if we're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And
correct.
But when your email's sitting in their inbox, there's, I think, a much bigger chance that they might actually open it and read it and do something with it. And I don't worry about unsubscribes, because I feel like if people are unsubscribing, they're probably not, my ideal client, and they're not in my niche. So I'm kind of happy for that. Pare it down, get down to people who really want to work with me.
Yeah, I have so many things to say about the unsubscribes. So number one, if you're getting unsubscribes and it feels emotional, that's completely normal. Like Lynda said, if I post something on social, it's gone in 5 minutes. Nobody's going to see it, unless those first few people pick it up and do something with it, Instagram, Facebook, it's going to, it's dead on arrival, right? You got to keep posting. But with email, it gets in the inbox and it sits there until somebody opens. It doesn't disappear the same way social media posts do. So it feels more emotional. It feels like a heavier experience, but that is also why it has the highest ROI. Like Lynda said, if somebody opens it, the chances are that if they opened it, they're going to engage with it. Right. So that's why it works. It's very consent based. Lynda opts into Liz opts into Julie, et cetera, et cetera. I consented to get your emails. And so an unsubscribe is simply, them taking away their consent. I no longer want to hear from you. And that can feel like, oh gosh, why? I thought we were in love, baby, but it, people take away consent for any reason. They might one day, they're really on this yoga kick, right? And then something happens, maybe they fell and they hurt their leg and they're just feeling slightly depressed and like they don't want to see the yoga emails anymore because it's depressing them that there's, they can't get out of bed right now. We don't know why they take away their consent. And it usually has nothing to do with you, right? And everything to do with their journey, right? I shared, share your vision for your clients. If they no longer share that vision for whatever reason, whether they just, they hopped back on, the TV binge train and not the, yoga train or whatever. Or, they just realized, oh, I found a studio. I don't need these emails anymore. Whatever the reason is, that is okay. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with where they're at with that vision. So,
and they may come back. I've done that. I've unsubscribed from lists and then come back onto them a few months later when I was back in the headspace of wanting to deal with it and not as overwhelmed.
Yeah, 100%. Right now, I'm running a big push for my yearly membership sale, and some people are signing up. And so I'm going in to make sure, their monthly subscription is canceled. And I'm seeing a lot of people that canceled 6-7 months ago and then have now come back. They're ready for, to take their email to the next level where, in the spring, they simply weren't. And honestly, I get a lot of cancellations that say, oh, I'm not ready to commit. I have too many things. That is not personal. And I don't say, oh, but, now I don't try to upsell them or change their mind. Peace be with you. It's here when you need it. I wish you success in whatever project you're working on right now. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, if you don't allow for that, that's when it gets like spammy and weird.
Right. Yeah. We've all had those horror stories where you unsubscribe and then you keep getting emails and you unsubscribe and you just have to finally start marking them as spam. And we don't want to be that guy.
No. And I also want to remind listeners that if it's not spam, don't mark it as spam. Marking the email as spam has some consequences for the person who is sending the email. And if it's something that you opted into and then just decided that you didn't want anymore, just unsubscribe.
Just unsubscribe. It's only when they keep emailing you after the unsubscribe, then yes, then they are technically spamming you. And
then one other place that I actually see a lot of kind of spammy stuff coming from is the bots and the software that now allows people, say, to scrape all the emails out of a Facebook group or right, or on LinkedIn.
Wow.
I see a lot of LinkedIn users kind of abusing the fact that you can download, right, into a spreadsheet all of your LinkedIn followers.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that. And that's another reason.
Which includes the email. And I'll often get weird. I'm like, who is this? And why are they emailing me? And then I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll be like, oh, it's the new connection on LinkedIn. And
How
I
bizarre.
always email back. Right. How did that happen? And I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah. So that's what I said at the top of the hour. When you do it properly, you can expect a return. When, there are certain rules you just don't break, right? Email is consent based, right? You don't want to scrape emails, buy emails. Even if somebody opts in or says, oh yeah, I'd love to be on your list, if you do a Facebook post. If you don't have that proper welcome sequence, reminding them, hey, you signed up because of X. Here's what we're going to do together. Here's what we have in common. Then they will likely forget who you are, right? And possibly mark you as spam. You've got to have that, even 1 or 2, I recommend 4, but even just 1 or 2 emails that says, hey, you signed up because of X. Remember, my name's Liz Wilcox. If you know nothing about me, it's this and that. We're going to make money with email together. Oh yeah, I remember signing up for that. Just giving them that recollection. Even if, you do work in a studio or you own a studio and you say, hey, give me your email. Having that first email go out to say, hey, you dropped by the studio today and gave me your email, or you dropped by the studio in the last few days and gave me your email. Here's what's about to happen, right? Setting those expectations what we were talking about, the same way when you go into the studio, oh, here's how a new class is going to happen. Here's what we're going to work on today. Here's what we're focusing on. You set the expectations before the class even starts. It's the same in those first few welcome emails. Set the expectation. Hey, you got this email from me for X. We're going to talk about Y. I'm going to offer you this and that. I'm going to email you once a month, twice a week, whatever, right? With class schedules, new events, blah, blah, whatever the heck you want to email about. Tell them up front and things are going to go really well for you.
Right. Because then people know what to expect.
Correct.
Have and they some idea of what they're getting.
Right. And they can consent. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'll keep opening the emails. Right. If they don't, oh, that sounds awful. I just gave her my email because she asked me for it and I don't know how to say no. They can hit that unsubscribe button, right? Again, has nothing to do with you, but you're laying it out and they, from there, get to decide, how to move forward. And that's what's most important, that they feel like they're in the driver's seat.
Right. That we're not pushing things on them, that they are asking for our help and then we are coming in and giving it. For as long as they want us around.
Right.
And as long as they want to hear what we have to say. I really love your focus on that, on not just consistency from the side of the emailers, but the focus on the fact that this is an actual kind of like personal relationship with somebody. And you want to take the parameters and the boundaries of that, very seriously. Otherwise, that could just, turn into a shit show.
Yeah, amen. She said it here. You heard it here first, folks. That's so funny. Yeah, I always tell people, first you have a follower, then you have a friend. You get those followers onto your email list. You try to turn them into friends, right? Show you're invested, share the vision, et cetera, et cetera. Stay top of mind by being consistent with the emails. And then once you have a list full of friends, you can turn them into customers because you know these people, you know what they like, what they're clicking on, what they're opening, what they're not opening. And so you can really cater your messaging and cater your offers and your events and, et cetera, your classes, for that list full of friends because you know them. It's not a guessing game. Like Lynda said, you have this relationship. So it's much more easily converted. The email list is much more easily converted when you actually have real relationships with these people.
So Liz, you have an offer for my listeners. And this offer is actually the first thing I got from you. And it was so useful. And I actually used it before I came into your membership, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
I did. I took that mega swipe file and she did
mega swiped, y'all.
And I mega swiped. All right.
I love that.
Liz is offering the mega email swipe file. Okay. And it's not just like one email template and you go. It has a welcome sequence. Yes, the welcome sequence that we were discussing.
Yes.
It has 3 newsletters and 52 possible subject lines. The subject lines at the point that I kind of joined helped me out the most.
Oh, that's so
because I would get
awesome
this great email and be like, what the hell am I going to put in the subject line?
That's so perfect. Yeah, I know, y'all. I love email, but I know most people don't. Most people, it's one of those things that keeps getting pushed to the bottom of the list. Like we know we should do it. We believe Liz, but we've got a million other things to do. And so the mega swipe file is just basically, again, just let me do it for you. Just trust me. Just let me come 90% of the way. All you have to do is go to lizwilcox.com, or I'm sure Lynda has something in the show notes, and you can get that swipe file. So that welcome sequence that I told you was so important. You're going to see that in action. You can take what I've written and make it your own. It's going to, set expectations for you. It's going to show you exactly where to input that, personality, vision, and values. And then the 3 newsletter examples. So you can see what I mean by following up, showing that you're invested, creating a friendship, right? And then, writing from scratch sucks. So take those 52 subject lines and you've got, a year worth of ideas for your newsletters. All for free, baby.
All for free. And seriously, that was such a great value to me. And I was like, and this is how you want those lead magnets to run, is that people then say, oh my God, if she's giving this for free, how awesome must the paid stuff be?
Right. Yeah. 100%.
Let's go check that out and see what's going on there.
Yeah. And the newsletter examples that you get in the swipe file actually come directly from email marketing membership, that $9 template thing we were talking about earlier. You get one example of how to get people to click, another how to get people to reply to you, again, because we're trying to create relationships, and a third how to get people to purchase from you directly from a newsletter. So have at it. I can't wait to see what you guys do with email.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, you guys, I am a proud affiliate of Liz. So I will be putting my affiliate links, which will take you to all the freebies and all the things, into the show notes, as well as a link to join the membership for anybody who's like, I just want to go there and just do it, because clearly this works and is fabulous. So Liz, thank you so much for joining me on the Pilates Goddess podcast.
Thank you.
You provided so much value, and I really think that the teachers and coaches who listen to this are going to have some great ideas, or at least a better understanding of what email marketing is and how it fits into their business and ultimately their sales, marketing, and client nurture plans moving forward.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what everybody does.
Yes. So everybody, thank you once again, one more time, for listening to the Pilates Goddess podcast. I am so thrilled with everybody's support. I'm getting great feedback. And since I do run some contentious episodes in our little Pilates community, I am super happy. And I've mentioned this before, that I finally have a 1-star review on Apple Podcasts. I wish the person had left a written review just so I could know what it was or what upset them. But I'm kind of glad, this goes back to the unsubscribes. Like, if you don't want my emails, unsubscribe, and then neither one of us have to go through it. And I kind of felt the same way about this review. But, guys, if you love the podcast, I would really appreciate it if you went over to Spotify or to Apple Podcasts and left a rating, and if you can, a written review. And thanks a lot for joining. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Music brought to you by Nerd Salad. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, especially if you liked it. And please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks.